Hi all, this is Lynn with Paper Life, and I have a little bit of a project share tutorial I wanted to share with you today. I was attempting to do a faux vellum, and I kind of achieved it in a couple different things I did. I didn't so much in others. However, the end product was pretty darn cool, so I wanted to show you all of them. I know there's other videos out there, and that's kind of what got me thinking. I know there's one where they use like baby oil, and well, I found it one time because I used mineral oil to cure my cutting mat or cutting board in my kitchen, and anytime I've done it and I put mail on there, it becomes translucent. So I tried both of those. The only thing I didn't love is when I put them in a book to see if there was any oil transfer. There was. With the mineral oil that I used, and it's food grade, and it basically doesn't go bad, so you don't have the smell, because that's one thing you have to be careful of when you're using oils. I was able to basically heat it. You could use a real low temperature oven. I put mine on the wood stove at a real low temperature, and it does eventually cure the oil. However, it was just so risky, I didn't want to show it to you because you really just have to be careful with it. So let me show you what I've done. And I actually went through and put all of them inside my binding book so that I could see if there was any transfer on the pages. And here's one, so you can see that none of these have any oil stains. Let me show you kind of how some of them came out translucent wise. And these were just scrap pieces of paper I had from test printing. This one you can almost make out what it says. And well, the first batch I'm going to show you was done with wood stain, and it's oil based, so be very careful when you do use it because the fumes are toxic. So be outside is best, or in a really well ventilated area. So this one was done with the stain, and it's just barely translucent. It does add a really cool kind of texture. The nice thing about this as well is my ink for my printer, if you say water too loud, it makes the ink run. It's very temperamental. This will actually protect your images. But this one was done with just a low pigment. This one was done with a pretty high pigment, and as you can tell, it wasn't mixed in very well, but I liked the way it came out. It has a very low translucent property. I mean, I can hardly make out that there's anything behind there. However, again, paper's kind of cool. It makes it, almost gives it a plastic feel, and all this was just done on regular copy paper, so thinner paper, and it really gives it a little bit of structure behind it. This one again was done with the wood stain, low translucent. You can kind of make it out, but not great. It does look cool on some of the lighter spots of the print of the pictures because you can make it out a little bit better. Same thing, I was just excuse me, playing with the amount of pigment that was in there. This one was really low pigment, very diluted out, and you can make out the words a lot better. So this is more translucent. This one happens to be kind of one of my favorites, and it gives it a golden hue. I mean, you can kind of tell the difference kind of from the camera. And for that, I used some furniture paste that I had, and it does make it fairly translucent. You can see through it. Again, where you have the darker text, you're not going to be able to see as well, but I really like this one. It comes out pretty hard. Excuse me. We have allergies going around, and my throat is giving out on me. So it makes it very much like vellum, where if you fold it, it gives you the crease in it. It's obviously not crystal clear like you can get vellum, but I don't know. I like that one a lot. So let me show you how I did it. Put these back in here. Now I will tell you, even doing it this way, I did let these sit for a day or two before I started testing them. Sorry, I'm completely in your way. And we'll get into that and I'll show you how I did that. So like I said, this is my id switch pine, and it was just some leftover stain I had from when we did our floors. In this mason jar, I have my mineral spirits. It's a clear liquid. Now be really careful when you're doing this, guys, because this is extremely messy and it will want to stain everything. The mineral spirits will want to cut through everything. So I do recommend outside on some type of material that you're okay. We are going to see how messy I can try not to be and do this here, primarily because it is very windy outside. So with the mineral spirits, you can cut your color. It's a like diluter. It'll cut down on the amount of pigment that's in there. There we go. I just wanted to make sure I was in camera. So if you take a small amount of your stain in a glass jar, mason jars work well, just don't use it for food after that. It will like dilute down your color, if that makes any sense. Yep, see, I didn't get this mixed very well at all, because that's why I have the rin of colors there, but that's okay. I'm just kind of showing you guys how I did it. Plus, the rin of colors tends to look cool, I think. But I'm weird like that. So all I want to do is a nice coat. And I am going to actually do this whole page just because we're here. Why not? It is oil, so even though my printer ink is extremely finicky about water, it will not run my print at all, which is something I really like. So once you get that on there, you want to flip it over, and even though it should have gone all the way through, I just like to make sure that it did, and put another light coat on this side. But you'll be able to tell the difference between quite easily the part that is stained and the part that's not. So it's pretty self-explanatory on that. Now what I'm going to do is just grab a paper towel and kind of take some of this off, because I don't want it all sitting on the top like that. I want it absorbed into my material as much as it will be. And so I don't make a big mess, I'm going to put my cap back on here and set this to the side. Now stains come in a large range of colors. So you could get like a red for a cherry. I think they even have a gray now for doing like distressed age barnwood or whatever. So there are lots of varieties you can do. I'm just going to throw my paper, wax paper, well it was parchment. Then what I did was I took a paper towel and I laid these down on top of them. And so I laid one at the bottom and I'm going to lay one over the top. So I just made like a stack like this of them. So they dried, pulled off the excess moisture, stuff like that. I'm going to set that to the side somewhere. Wish you guys could see how messy my desk is. Well, not wish it enough that I'm going to show you. But I have just enough room to work. Go figure, I'm in the middle of projects. Now here is the one where I'm going to use the furniture polish. This one can be one more difficult to open up. Let me try to do this without stabbing my hand. There we go. Okay, so this one can be a little bit more of a pain. I actually found that using a blow dryer, heat gun, embossing tool, anything you have that puts the extra heat on there, does make this project a lot quicker. But I'm going to kind of show you how it works without using that, if I can ever get this thing open. Just so you have a basic idea in case you don't have something like that. Even a hot sunny day would help, because what you need to do is kind of melt this wax into your paper. So, hot sunny day. And if you don't, then a lot of elbow grease. But I'm going to rub this into our paper. And the rubbing is basically friction that causes the wax to melt in there. But as you can see, as I go over it, you can tell what area has absorbed the wax already and which areas haven't. The nice thing about this is it's a little less toxic to breathe. And then I would definitely flip it over and do the other side of it. But then you start to see where the wax is at. It makes it kind of pop through. Again, just wiping off my excess because I don't want it puddled on there. But yeah, you would just finish out your page doing it that way. Or bring out some form of heat, make your life a little easier. Of course, we're in the middle of summer, but for some reason we have decided that we want to have floods and everything else because it's just cold and rainy nonstop. So outside for heat would not be my best avenue, but inside with the AC probably isn't the best idea either. But yeah, that gives you a general idea. It doesn't even take long without a heat source. It just, you guys know I'm all about doing stuff as quickly and easily as I can. But when you flip it over, you can definitely tell a lot easier if part of the paper did not completely absorb your polish. So there you go. And then what I did was I take my next paper and I just lay it on top of my stack of paper towels. I thought I grabbed enough paper towels, but I apparently didn't. So I would put another one on top of here. You can also add like a cookie sheet or something for weight if you want. Like I said, I still went ahead and gave this, you know, a day or two to dry before I put it to use, before I would put it in a journal or whatever. If you're kind of wanting to test them out, make sure that they're working, put them inside a book or put them between some papers that you're okay with them getting potentially messed up. But that is what I did. Let's see, I got some book pages here. And see, it's just, again, really nice translucency on that. I'm really a fan of the wax. Takes a little bit longer, but I love the color that it comes out with. So that is my project share tutorial type thingy. I hope you all have a great day, and I hope that works. If you find out any other oils that you like for this, let me know. I'm quite curious to try out a few others. And I will see you all later. If you like my channel, go ahead and subscribe. Check us out on Facebook. And you guys have a great day. Hi all, this is Lynn. I thought we were done with this video, but we're not. I went to take some pictures of the faux, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, because it's not really translucent, but the one that I did using the furniture wax that I did not use a heat gun on did not come out opaque like the original did, and it didn't develop as much color. I mean, you can definitely tell it's darker in color than the untreated paper, but just not the look I'm looking for. So apparently we can play with the color depending on heat or not, but I'm going to show you how I did the one using the heat gun. I was trying to avoid that because it's probably going to be noisy and a pain, but at this point I feel obligated to show you how I did that one. So unfortunately I'm going to turn on my heat gun, and this is just a legitimate heat gun. Got it from the tool supply, Harbor Freight I believe it was, and it was like, I don't know, maybe 10, maybe 20 bucks. I'm going to turn on the lowest setting, which is the 800 Fahrenheit. So we're not working at a very low temperature. However, you can use a blow dryer or anything like that that you want. I'm trying to get my talking done prior to doing this. So, because like I said, it's going to be really annoying, and I'm sorry guys. So I just grabbed some of my wax and I'm going to show you how I did this. So this wasn't as loud as I thought it was going to be, mostly because I don't have the air turned up all the way on it. But as you can see, I'm just kind of melting the wax, letting it absorb into the paper. And I lied, I went ahead and put it up to 650 because I got tired of waiting for it to slowly warm up. So I can already tell you, this is most definitely absorbing more of this wax than it did originally. But I did that experiment a few weeks ago, if not a month or so ago, and I kind of forgot how it felt doing it with the heat. But again, you don't have to have a heat gun. Something just like a blow dryer would work. You just want something to heat up that wax that's in the furniture polish and get it to actually absorb in. But there's a lot of variations that you can do. There's a lot of different ways that you can change the color of it. I would turn off my heat gun between these steps while I'm talking, but it just goes into a cool down mode anyway, so you're going to hear it no matter what. You can tell the areas once the furniture polish dries on there because it becomes matte instead of shiny. And when you hit it with the heat gun, if it's completely absorbed in, it won't get that wet look again. So that's all I'm doing, is kind of going back over any of those areas that can still absorb some. And since I talked to you last, my dog has decided to come inside and he is playing with his ball. So, if you hear a big giant in my house, pay no mind to him. Alright, I'm leaving that on because it got more annoying to let it cool off. Now all I'm doing is going to go over any of the areas that there's too much of that wax on there. I just want it to be all dry on the surface. So sorry about our tease, the video's over, not quite, we're still here, we're still talking. But I wanted to make sure I brought that back to you and showed you how I did it so that you can have the full transparency of it instead of doing it dry without the heat, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Alright guys, I think this is officially it. At the end here, I'll add a couple pictures showing you what it was like after it dried. I'm just going to go in and hit some of these areas. You'll be able to see because it becomes slightly white back to the, I don't want to say back to the color of the paper, but slightly back to it. You'll notice a difference if it doesn't have enough polish on it. But I just want to get it nice and saturated. Okay, again guys, sorry about the we're done, nope, just kidding, we're back. But I wanted to show you that. I hope you all have a great day. If you like my videos, then subscribe. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, come check us out. It's Paper Lifers. And I will talk to you all later. Bye.